Hey guys, welcome back to the Thriving in Love podcast, the podcast that challenges the status quo so couples and human beings can all thrive as our most authentic selves. Today, I am joined by a true content queen. We met at Create and Cultivate and we connected so deeply on being fully expressed, not just in our content and our business, but how it shows up in our relationships. I'm excited to dive in, but before I dive in, I'm going to give you guys a quick little intro on our special guest today. Dalia helps visionary women entrepreneurs show up online with confidence and sparkle and turns everyday ideas into scroll-stopping reels, engaging videos, and consistent content that actually reflects your magic and attracts your dream clients. With a mix of strategy and joy and that irresistible, you got this energy, she makes content feel easy and fun. Dalia, welcome. You are the embodiment of what you preach. You are the embodiment of joy, expression, pure magnetic energy when we met. So I'm honored. I'm excited to dive in today. Welcome.
Hi, welcome everyone here. Thank you for that. That was a beautiful introduction. I love that. Yeah, last meeting was something kind of that just happened out of nowhere. And I loved it because we just connected, you know? We just started talking and connected. It wasn't about like, what can you do for me kind of vibe. It was more of like, oh my God, I dig your vibe. Like, tell me more about you. I want to learn about you. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Yeah.
great. It was great.
Was that your experience with most of the connections at Create and Cultivate?
Not everyone. I felt like some people were definitely more like, I'm here to give my business card and get a business card kind of vibes.
Yeah, like
I
more
wanna
transactional networking.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
wanna say like half of it was very transactional and then the other half was like,
Yeah.
oh hey girl, who are
Yeah.
you? Let's talk. Like tell me more about yourself kind of vibe and connecting, which is the type of networking I like to do because
Same.
I rather get to know someone and if I like you, then for sure I'll be like, support this girl. She's awesome, you know?
I
That's
truly
usually
believe
how
that
it
you
works.
actually, like when you have genuine connections, you think about that person more often in opportunities. So
Exactly.
I think it doesn't really stick in our brain that, oh, this person would be perfect for this. Let me connect. And I'm a big fan of helping people find connections and opportunities and just moments that can
Same.
amplify their life. So I love to get to know you as a person, and I love that we did that. We dove right in. And also, if we only talked about work, right? Like you would talk about how you're amazing at helping women with their content, but then I never would have gotten to know your incredible love story, which I'd love to dive into today.
I know. Yes, let's go for it. It's been a long
Cool.
one. I've kissed a lot of frogs.
Okay, let's start there because I think that story is so common. I think a lot of us, me included, needed to kiss a lot of frogs in order to
Mm.
find our prince. So, what does that mean for you? What does it look like? Take us down Dahlia's love story.
Oh my God, how much time do you have? Okay, so let's see. Let's start like back in the day. Let's start teenager years because I want you
Mm,
to understand that even though now I feel fully beautiful in my body and my mind, when I was younger, I did not feel pretty at all. I was an emo chick for a minute. Like I was always the guy's best friend,
mm.
always tomboy, kind of hanging around with the guys, and they will tell me everything, but I was never like a love interest. Also, I'm from Peru originally. I grew up in Peru, and I'm really tall. Well, for a Peruvian,
Mm.
I'm 5'7.5", which for a Peruvian that's like
I
5'11".
mean, that's a whole model. That's model status.
Seriously. Which here is like, oh my God, you're beautiful, you look exotic. But over there in Peru, it was like, you're just really tall. Like, there, and of course there was like the one tall guy that
Yep.
will love being with the super short girls, and I'll be like,
Yep.
oh my God, where do I find a break, right? So there wasn't much going on in Peru. I had one boyfriend who treated me really well, and I loved him, but then nothing
Aw.
really big, you know. And then I moved to the States when I was 18, turning 19. Didn't move on purpose. I was just coming here for my vacation from college for 3 months to work with a J1 visa, which is the visa that they give to students that are enrolled in college, but they're only like leaving just for summer. That way they can for sure know that you're gonna come back and not gonna stay in
Yeah.
the country, which is not what I did. I ended up staying, but I didn't. I stayed because I met someone and we clicked immediately, and he was the first guy that will call me beautiful all the time. And
Yep.
this started telling me, convincing me, oh, wow, I am beautiful. He's right. Like he
Wow.
keeps telling me I'm beautiful. And so that repetitiveness of someone else telling me, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful. Finally, I started believing it at
You
some
got to
point.
see yourself through somebody else's eyes that actually like really cared about you. So that's like the reflection of love. You got the reflection of love.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a little bit intoxicating, I would say, because I've never had that kind of attention before. I didn't really predict that when I came to the States. I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna go work. I didn't really think about that part on how here I look different because I'm considered exotic here because of who
Yeah.
well, where I'm from, and then the way I talk, also my accent, which wasn't a
Yeah.
thing before, right? And I came here and I found out all these things, and that guy who ended up becoming my first husband
Wow.
later on. Yeah, so I was here for 3 months, was dating him, and it grew really quickly. I was 19 at the time, and he was 23. And then I applied for an extension, which with that visa, you can have, I believe, 4 months more, which I was here and doing the thing for extra 4 more months. Then after that, you couldn't ask for anything more. Like you couldn't apply for
Mm-hmm.
any more vacations. We were having a really great time. This was my first
Mm-hmm.
real boyfriend, if you think about, because we were kind of living together too, because I was living with a friend, but I was staying with him a lot. And
Yeah.
that was my first real relationship.
Mm.
And it was very positive, at least during that time. It got to a point that we needed to think, okay, what's going to happen? Are we staying together or are we calling it quits? Because I got to head back home to Peru.
Yep.
And we gave each other a full week separate from each other. We're like, let's
I
think about this.
love that.
Yeah, and then like on the fourth day, he showed up on my apartment and proposed to me. And I remember I was just coming out of the shower, and like I opened the door and I was still with my towel, and he came in and he like proposed to me when I was still wearing my towel.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wow.
he basically he told me like I all these days without you didn't feel right, and I want to
Mm.
see what happens, like I want to figure it out with you. We
Yeah.
both knew we weren't ready to get married. Like I was 19, he was 23. We
Yeah.
weren't ready, but we were ready to keep being together and keep exploring it and keep figuring out where it was going. We weren't
Yep.
ready to completely be away from each other, over 4,000 miles away from each other. So
Totally. Mm-hmm.
so that happened, and I remember clearly too when he proposed to me, and my head was like, no, no, say no, say no, say no, say no, say
Oh,
no.
wow.
Yeah, my head was like, no, 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 like immediately, and I was like, yes, it's so pretty. Look at the ring. I was so
Yeah.
excited and blinded, but my immediate head and gut response was no. But back
Amazing.
in that
Uh-huh.
day, I wasn't as in tune with my gut and my intuition.
Yep.
Um, and I decided to completely just not listen and do what
Yep.
I wanted to do, which is what I did. And eventually it didn't work out, but I learned a lot from that.
But you guys were together for how many years?
We were together for 4 years, almost five. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a long time. You went through many stages in that relationship that
Oh yeah.
most people won't really get to. Like I see relationships today all the time where it's like as soon as the honeymoon stage is over and they hit some
Mm,
resistance and stuff, then that's usually when they break up. Like a lot on the
mm.
average, like marriages last like 2 years. And it's crazy
Oh
because
wow.
usually at that 2 year mark is when the masks come off, the blindfolds come off, and you start to really see this person's
Hmm.
true self, or that person is starting to activate parts of you that like you are attracted to at first, but then that attraction turns into feeling lack within if you're not
Hmm.
conscious about
Hmm.
the dynamic of conscious relationships, the purpose of relationships, etc. So,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people too, myself included,
yeah.
with relationships, we go in very excited, and we're like, everything's gonna be great. Look at this. This is awesome. But then it gets to a point of, okay, what are you doing for me? Right? It gets to
Mm-hmm.
like a selfish part of like, I think it's like a spot where you're like, okay, I'm either diving in completely and just whatever happens, happens, or
Mm-hmm.
I need to be a little more selfish and be like, what are you doing for me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how are
Mm-hmm.
you helping me? But then that's not really a good thinking to have, because it's mostly like the one that grows is you with the relationship, not there. Nobody else owes you anything. They don't need to teach you anything, right? Like, you're the one that needs to learn from everything that you do together, right? And you need to step up to the next level. It's not their responsibility
Yep.
to make you grow,
But
you
it
know?
gets a little tricky, I think, also because that person is bringing these things out of you. So you think it's
Yeah.
their fault
Mm-hmm.
when in reality, it's just the way relationships are meant to be for our soul growth, expansion, evolution, etc. So that, but you're right. You're so right, Dahlia. Where like that's the biggest component is even if you're getting triggered and activated by this person, it's your responsibility to be responsible for where does
Exactly.
that come from? Why is this
Hmm.
here? What is this here to show me or teach me, etc. So thank you for
Yeah.
saying that for our listeners today.
Yeah, because once you see it that way, then you get excited about learning your partner's language. You get
Oof,
like,
so
right? You
true.
get in like a such a different mindset. For me, oh my God, the mindset that I was in relationships a few years ago to compare to now, it's crazy, like
Oh.
crazy. And I didn't even learn it with my first husband. Okay, so after that
Yeah,
relationship
so
didn't
tell me,
work.
take me through. Wait,
Okay.
what was the reason for the separation, if you don't mind
Good
me
question.
asking?
I knew that was coming soon. We were together for about 4 years or so. We met in Florida, and he had family in Washington State. So
Mm.
after we got married, which was 7 months after meeting each other, we traveled across country
Oh my
to Washington
gosh.
State
All the way to
because
the opposite end of the
exactly.
country. That's so
Hmm.
far.
We did
Okay.
like a road trip like that went through, and which was
Wow.
fun to do, but also like I've never done that before, and yeah, it was a lot. We were piling on the things that we the challenges that we were able to go through together for
Yep.
such a small or short relationship, you know. But I've always been the kind of person that's like, let's just go for it, let's figure it out, let's go. So I went for it, and we moved over there. We're starting over from scratch. His mom was nice enough to let us live in her home for a year or so because we had just moved there. We had just started with a relationship, and we needed to like save up money. But that also came into the relationship, even though he would always put me first
Yeah.
over whatever his mom was saying. It was still not the
It's
same
hard,
vibe. I just
girl.
like
It is
it's
so
a
hard
different
living with
energy.
in-laws. Even if
Hmm.
they're great, it's just different. It's
Yeah, it's
hard.
so different.
Yeah.
So she was awesome, and I learned a lot about his mom. Part of the family is Filipino, and his mom's mom was living there too, and she was like straight from the Philippines. She grew up over there, so I learned a lot of Filipino culture.
Wow.
It was great.
So cool.
But we're still young, and we're living with in this scenario, so there were a lot of different challenges that were coming up. Plus, our personalities started to come through a little more, and how what we wanted for life because we were really young, so
Yep.
if everything started to come through, and it was like, okay, he wants to go the very traditional way of going to school and work the normal hours and all that, and I've always been outside of the box. And I was
Yep.
already even back then being like, what can I do to keep growing but not feeling like I'm working in a cubicle,
Mm.
so I worked as a server bartender for 14 years while I was trying to figure out different avenues or what could I do. Like I
Yeah.
told myself, if I'm gonna work at something just to survive or like get me money to, keep trying to figure
Yes.
out what my passion or my where my impact is gonna come from. I'm gonna do something that comes easy. What comes easy to me? I'm very good at networking and talking to people and making people feel comfortable. We were just talking about how I love hosting.
Yep.
So I was like, well, serving seems like a good idea. Plus, I can learn more English that way.
Mm.
Because,
Smart.
at that point, I was still just here. And I'm always the person that, like, okay, this is kind of hard. Let's get more involved with it so I can overcome it. That's always
I
how I think,
love that. Oh,
I don't like I don't step back. I'm more of like, all right, let's tame this beast.
same. Yeah.
So
Action taker.
yes, I'm an action
Yeah.
taker. That's when it started kind of noticing, we were started noticing like,
Yeah.
okay, I am more of like, let's work at restaurants and bars and lounges and save money and find different ways to invest my money and then travel. Because
Yeah.
I love the fact that serving, I could take a full on month during the slow times and I could just go and travel.
Yeah.
But my husband at the time wasn't into this. He was more of like, no, we need to save, save, save. I don't see that. We weren't seeing eye to eye,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically. And we
There's
started growing apart because of that, because we didn't have a
exactly.
goal, a common goal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
We didn't think about the future together. We barely talked about kids, but not really. We're like, it's not even in the horizon yet. Like, we're
Yeah.
still trying to figure out our situation. Yeah.
Totally.
Plus, when you marry someone from that's outside the States, like there's a lot of paperwork that you
Yeah.
have to go through. This is
Mm-hmm.
something that a lot of people don't know about because everybody that would ask me will be like, "Oh, you're married. Oh, so you're fine now. You can just do
Mm-hmm.
whatever here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
You're a citizen."
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, it doesn't work like that. There's
Yeah.
so much paperwork, and it takes a long time to go through this. And gotta go into get interviewed, and this adds a lot on the relationship
Yeah.
because you're already going through the normal struggles and now you're adding this on top of it.
Yeah.
So
And now
that
the
was,
government's involved in your relationship and it's
yeah,
like it's so much more complicated. Yeah.
it definitely added extra
Attention
stress.
point. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, definitely. So that was that. We kept growing apart. There was a point where I felt stuck, and this wasn't the best way to deal with it. But I grabbed my things and I went to a friend's home. So when he came back to seeing that my things were gone, or some of my things were gone,
Wow.
and I wasn't
Yeah.
there,
Oh my
which
gosh.
total dick move on my part. I take
You were young,
responsibility.
but you
I
were
didn't know how
young
to
and
deal
like
with it.
we are always operating from our attachment styles, right? Especially when you're not aware and conscious and like doing the work. And I don't think that we should shame ourselves for or like feel bad or have guilt because I think that these are all beautiful things that makes you who you are today. Like now you're very aware of okay,
Hmm.
when do I feel like I want to run? Let
Hmm.
me lean in and see like okay, what am I avoiding?
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
you
Because it
sometimes
was
you just have to
definitely,
go to the extreme to learn a lesson.
yeah, exactly. It was definitely about me and how I was feeling. Obviously, there are things going on both sides, but
Of course.
at that point, I didn't know what to do, and the only thing I can do is like, okay, I need to remove myself from this for a second so I can really think. So I did that, and when he came back, he was upset, obviously, and we talked about it, and he told me like, all right, well, just move back and we'll figure it out together. But
Mhm.
I was not ready to move back in. So I just told him, like, hey, I'm going to stay with my friend for a month. I know
Yeah.
this is hard, but let's think about things because
Good for you.
we just keep growing apart and I don't
You
see
needed space
how
to
we're going to,
think. Mhm.
yeah, like, and
Yeah.
also it's always good to have a break for both of you to kind of see how life is without each other.
I
You know,
agree.
like it wasn't the best way to make this break, but like I do like the fact that we had a little bit of a break and we thought
I
about
mean,
things
girl,
and
I literally got my own apartment in New York while feeling that way. So,
you get it.
I get it.
Mostly if you're like a
Sometimes you
really
just need
independent
space.
person, like
Yeah.
if you're, I've
Mhm.
always been very independent woman. I do my thing. I don't need anybody, no man, I do everything that I need to do on my
Yeah.
own, right?
I
So
also
my mom
think
is like
that
that too.
like sometimes the physical space is also needed in order for you to detach energetically because sometimes we become so attached to what they're thinking, how they're feeling, what they need that
Mhm.
we abandon our
Exactly.
true self and needs because we are by nature women have more of
Hmm.
a nurturing thought
Yep.
process. So we'll be like, you know what? Maybe I'm being too selfish. Let me just try. And as soon as you abandon that part of you that needs space, just wants to think, wants to process, wants
Hmm.
to be in her own energy in order to please somebody else's wants, needs, and desires, that's self abandonment. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm so so proud of you.
Yeah, that was definitely something I learned on the go there.
I mean, I think
um,
it was like your intuition just guiding
yeah,
you.
that's true, and I leaned in. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so then after that, we kind of talked about it. We ended up getting back together. But what I didn't know, and we had our interview for the green card. I
Oh my
remember like
gosh.
probably like a month, no, like a couple of weeks after we got back together, because it was
Wow.
also another thing that was like, okay, well, if we don't get back together, this is it. I'm gonna go back home. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to stay here. I have my family at home that loves me. I stayed here because I wanted to see what else was coming here with you.
Also, Washington State is really cold and rainy. Like,
Ah,
I'm
I
sure the
know, girl.
weather was a factor as
You know,
well.
we have like a very like high energy, shiny sun.
Yes, we need sunshine. We
Yeah,
need warm
I
weather. Yeah.
love sunshine. So that was kind of getting, yeah, gonna getting me down for sure. But I did meet a lot of very creative people in Washington
Mm.
State. Like, I
Oh,
feel
that's
like
really cool.
people need to have personalities over there, because you can't just bank on having a hot body, being outside doing exercising here, like in San Diego or California. You can't. You gotta have a personality.
So
So,
true.
because you're indoors way more
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. So you need to
Um,
have outlets
you
that
need to have,
fulfill
yeah.
you.
So that was that, but like we started kind of like growing apart, and then I mentioned that maybe we need to talk to somebody, like we need therapy, right? So we went and did therapy for a couple months at least. I remember, yeah, something like a couple months. But things were still, even with therapy and a mediator, we weren't seeing eye to eye, and I don't
Yeah.
know if it was because we were just both so young that we were still kind of like holding on to our truth, quote unquote truths, which at that age is not even that true, you know what I mean?
I
But
agree.
so I think that's what it was. And at some point, we were both kind of against it. We had a big fight. I can't remember what it was about. And he like stormed out, grabbed the bag, and he was like, I'm out. I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
okay, I guess this is it. So he left, and I cried, and I was really upset. And then I was like, wait, this is the sign, you know? Maybe this is
Mm-hmm.
the sign. He left, he got out. I just need to make sure that I keep this way. Let's don't go back, right? Like if we're already there, let's move forward. He already made his decision. And then so he came back, obviously the next day, like, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then I was strong enough to just be like, no, you gave me a sign, and now we're gonna go this way. I don't wanna get stuck here
Mm-hmm.
going back and forth. We're not learning. We're not open. It's not going anywhere. That's when like it stopped. And oh my God, the 4 months that came after that were just like a lot of partying,
Yeah.
lots of
Yeah,
partying.
girl. Yeah.
I did not talk it through. I was 23 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the past, like the last 4 years, I was in a very serious relationship, right?
Yes.
So it was finally time for me to just be out there and have fun. Plus, my ex-husband, my first husband, was my second man
Yeah.
only in life.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
I hadn't even tasted all the colors in the rainbow.
Yeah,
And I
girl.
was curious. I was very curious. Like once I finally made peace with the fact that we weren't going to be together anymore,
Yeah.
I started getting curious, and it did take
Yes.
a while until it got there. But once the partying was going on for long enough, I was like, you know what? I need to get back home to Peru, recenter
Mm.
myself, make sure that I'm
Mm.
not losing myself. Because
Wow.
you were right. Like you were talking about how sometimes when you're so into a relationship, you lose track of who you are and you just
Yeah.
focus so much on the other person. I felt like I was
Mm-mm.
there. I
Yeah.
felt like I just didn't remember at all what I wanted to do with my life, because for the past 4 years, I was just focused on him and us constantly.
Yes.
What can I do to save this? What can I do for us to be better together? But I
Yeah.
forgot about me specifically. I decided to go back home to Peru. I stayed for 3 months or so with my mom, and I have a very good community in Peru. My mom has a very big family, and everybody's really close. So I felt like I was able to reconnect with myself and what I wanted.
Wow.
And I ended up coming back to Washington State, and I decided I wanted to move to San Diego because my best friend, who I met there in Washington State, she had just broken up with her husband as well. Because
Wow.
when we met, we were both married young. She was married to a military guy. We were working at the same restaurant, and we just became besties because of that. And the
So
four of us
cute.
will hang out all the time. So
Aw.
we grew a big friendship. Then when her husband started like calling it quits, she decided to move to San Diego. I flew with her to no, we drove together to San Diego. I absolutely loved San Diego because, if you're in Washington State and it's raining constantly, you drive to San Diego and it's like, oh my God, it's sunny and beautiful. And it was 4th of July when we went. So
Wow.
it was so like, oh my God, this is like a beautiful place. I need to come here. But during that time, we were still, my husband and I were going to therapy, my ex-husband and I. So I wasn't completely ready to give it up. Few months later, didn't work out. I went home to Peru. When I came back, I was like, I'm going to San Diego. That is where I'm starting over. That's a beautiful, sunny place. I have my best friend that's there. And I'm just going to start from scratch.
Wow.
I've never been scared of
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like,
starting
did
from
you have
scratch.
any fears at all?
Not really. I just see things as challenges mostly. And this wasn't the first time I was doing it. I had already done it from Peru
Yeah.
to Florida and then from
When you were
Florida to
younger with
Washington.
way less wisdom and resources and stuff. And
Exactly, right? So I was
yeah.
like, I can make this happen. I'm good. I already have experience working at restaurants. I can get there, show my experience, and I'm an amazing person. I can show up and talk and make them laugh, and
Wow.
boom, I'm gonna get a job. It took me like a couple weeks to get a job, and my first job in San Diego was at this place called Funky Garcia's. I don't know if you ever heard about it, but it was a place where it was mostly for military guys downtown. And then the girls will just get up on the counter, the bar at some point and do a dance, kind of like
I love
Coyote
that.
Ugly kind of
Yeah,
vibe,
yeah, yeah,
but like
yep.
very like not in that kind of level of production. You just like
Yeah.
literally just like, oh, girls come up, and then we'll just kind of like do a quick dance and they'll come down. Nothing like extra sexy or anything. It was just like,
To lift the energy of the
yeah,
space.
to lift
Yeah.
the energy. Yeah, it was just a fun place to work at. I worked there for 2 weeks, and then I got a job at another restaurant that seemed more of a consistent spot. So I went in and started working at this other place, which
Oh wow.
I ended up working there for years and years. Met a couple of my best friends that I still have there, and it worked out really well. But so
Wow.
after that, I was single for 3 years in San Diego.
Damn, good for you.
Yeah, and I think that gave me enough room to explore things that I hadn't before. Just have fun with dating,
Yeah.
like just have fun with it.
Because you
And I've
never
always liked
got that
variety.
when, like, that's usually what people do in their
Yeah,
20s.
exactly.
And, like, you didn't get the opportunity like college or post college where we're exploring and seeing, like, dating as many people as we can and really learning what do we like, what do we don't like, learning more about our own selves, like,
Hmm.
who are we and, like, how do we like to show up. And I think that it's a important part of development for women to have a period where you are curious and open and you take chances and you get
Hmm.
outside of your comfort zone of this is my type and this is the only person I'm going to date. No, like, experiment. You don't know what
Yeah.
you don't know, right? Go
Yeah,
have a
that was my time.
season. Yeah.
That was my time when I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out there. And dating apps weren't around yet, but they were dating websites.
Okay.
So
Which ones did you
so
use?
I believe Tinder wasn't out because Tinder was the first one that came out
Yeah.
at first, I feel like. So Tinder wasn't out then, but there was Plenty of Fish,
Yep, I remember that
which,
one.
right? Like that one was a fun one, which I created that profile when I was like one night with my friend,
That's
just
so funny.
us having wine and being like, let's just do it. Let's just
I
create a
love it.
profile. But yeah, like I remember going on that one and just going on different other ones. I can't remember, but I remember Plenty of Fish, and I met a few different guys in there, and I just remember the whole online dating being just kind of like you didn't know what you were gonna get
Yeah.
because sometimes the guy would show up and like you don't look like the guy that was on the picture.
Yeah.
And they'll be like,
Which
oh
still
yes, I was like,
happens
yeah,
all
exactly,
the
right.
time.
But it wasn't as dynamic as I see it now because I feel like with the
Mm.
apps it's just so much more dynamic. But
Also
also
because of
people
social
have gotten
media, I think
exactly,
too, where it's like you can't really hide and lie that much. It's
exactly.
a lot harder unless you're like a really crazy person who's going to create a whole
Like back then there
online
wasn't, I don't think social
profile.
media was out yet, or I wasn't in it
Yeah, I don't
yet.
think
It
Instagram
wasn't
was
as
also
popular.
that big. Yeah.
Yeah, this was 2012 when I moved to
Yeah.
San Diego. But there was an app that I don't know if you ever heard about. It was called Lulu. And this
No.
app, oh my God, this app was great. They probably got rid of it because liability, but Basically, this app was for girls to
Yeah.
go in and rate the guy that you just went out with.
Oh, that's so
So
smart.
yeah, so you'll have a profile and you can like upload a photo of the guy, or
Wow.
it didn't have to be a photo, you just put his name, and
Yep.
then you would rate the guy depending on like,
That's so funny.
chivalry, I don't know,
I
like
love
financial
that.
stability, like a bunch of different stuff
Why does
that
that not
people might want
exist
to
still?
know.
That's so
Right? Like
helpful.
it was so perfect
Jeez.
because you will go in and you could just go in as long as a girl had created at least one review for the guide, you could see it
Yeah.
in there. And it was like going on Yelp, but for the
Yep.
guy that you were
I
either
love that.
about to go on a date with, or
Hmm.
the guy that you went on a date with and now you wanted to leave a review for them.
So smart.
So 3 years of not dating anybody.
Yeah.
And then I started working at this restaurant that was right behind my place. And the person who is my husband now, he hired me there. That's how we met.
Oh, okay.
I basically made him hire me somehow with my persistence because I showed
Love
up
that.
there one morning and I was like, "Hey, can I talk to the manager?" Manager comes out, which is Brad, my husband now. He comes out and he's just like smiling. And I'm like, "Hi, how's it going, Brad? I'm looking for a job here. I love beer, and I noticed that you guys have all kinds of draft beers. And also, I am not applying to any other jobs, any other places here because I want to work here. I don't want to work at those other random bars. Those are not my vibe.
Wow.
I feel like here I'm gonna be the best and you're gonna love
Wow.
it." Like I sold myself great, okay? Brad was like, that is great, like love meeting you, but we're not looking for anybody at the moment. I'm like, no problem. I will be back next Tuesday at the same time. And he was like, okay. Next Tuesday I came back and I was like, oh hey Brad, how's it going? Has anything opened up? I'm ready for a job. And he's like,
Wow.
oh, Dalia, I told you, like, we're not really looking for people. I was like, no problem. I will be back next Tuesday at the same time. So by the
Wow.
third Tuesday I came back, he was already expecting me and he had the other manager ready there to give me an interview. So the two of them gave me an interview on the third
Aw.
Tuesday because he was probably like, this girl is not gonna stop. Like, I need to at least get her. Persistence gets you things. Um,
Agreed.
and this place was perfect because it was like right behind my place, and
Yep.
it was the place I wanted to work at. So I was
You
confident
had a
enough to,
focus and you were
yeah,
devoted and you were not going to be distracted by anything else.
yeah. Not even how cute the manager was. Because I told myself, like, no, 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 do not even think this guy's cute. This is about a job, and you're gonna get this job, girl. So,
Wow.
so I remember, like, after that day, they hired me, and we worked together for about 3 months before we started dating. At first, I remember we talked about relationships, and he told me he was kind of dating on and off with this girl over the past year, and I was like, oh, same. I'm being on and off with this guy over almost 2 years. He's in the military. He gets deported. I don't think I'm ready for that. Like, I'm not ready to settle down. And then I'm not ready to be with someone that travels like that. I'm not strong enough. I know it. I need someone next to me. I've told him plenty of times. He doesn't believe me. He wants to keep waiting for me. I don't even know what to do anymore because I do love him. Like, it was just like, and he
Yeah.
was kind of
Like you
doing,
guys are literally just friends, like sharing
yeah, we
your
were
dating
sharing, and
story.
like he was on his own thing, I was on my own thing. And then this place that we worked at used to do quarterly, they would take us to a new brewery. This made me see him in a more social environment, and I was very excited about it because at that point I wasn't dating that other guy anymore. I had
Hmm.
already seen Brad giving me smiles and looks that were not just
Yep.
manager vibes,
Yep.
So I was like, okay. So I put on my cute red
Wait, hold on.
dress.
Also, just for the listeners to understand this real quick, you cut off anything that was a maybe. You created space for this relationship to flourish in its own way, on its own time, when it was ready to be something more. And
But
you
after
just, yeah, go for it.
I did that after the first date. Like
After
before
the
the
first
first,
date with Brad.
yeah, yes, after the first
Okay.
date, when I felt the spark,
Okay.
I stopped responding to anybody else in the roster because I had a roster. Up until then, I had
Okay.
I had a couple
But
of guy
that's
friends that we
important.
were
That's
like,
important. That's
mhm,
an important because the first date.
yeah.
Okay. What got you to that first date after going to this brewery?
So we went to the brewery, we hung out all day, we're drinking all day. And then at the end of the night, my roommate was out of town. And I was like, hey, if you want to, we could come watch Netflix at my place. This is
Netflix
before
and
even
chill.
Netflix and
Before Netflix
chill,
and chill.
before it was a thing, right? And I was like, you can come see Netflix at my place. My roommate's out of town. He came over and we were like, he was all cutesy with me. And then he came in to kiss me. And for a second, I was like, wait, maybe we shouldn't do this. We've been drinking all day. We work together. And he's like, no, I've been wanting to do this since the first time I saw you. This is not from today. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, okay, I'm in. Let's go. But so,
Yeah.
and then we kissed and we finished the movie. And then I was like, okay, you got to go home because I don't want to continue this
Yeah.
if it's going to be a thing, like
Ooh,
I
you had
rather, like, I
respect
can,
for it.
yeah, I also saw him as a potential for like a good guy. And I already knew in my head that if I wanted to start a relationship with a guy, I couldn't give it up in the first night because
Although
I
I
already
did. My
had,
husband and I slept together on our first
yeah.
date. So
for me for me it was more about me than the
no, I
guy
get
because
it.
I've
Yeah, yeah,
always,
yeah.
yeah, because I've always been, I think about sex like a guy a lot of times. Like it was back then it was
Yep.
less of like a, it was more like
I get
transactional
it.
kind of thing back then.
Yes.
So for me it was more of like I need to give myself that space and tell myself like, no, no, I'm not entertaining any other
Mm.
possibility,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanna really give him a
A chance.
a chance.
A
And I knew
real
I
chance.
knew if I had
Yeah.
sex with him that one night, then I was just gonna be like, it's already done. I already got it. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be as excited,
I
if
get
that
it.
makes
So it
sense.
wasn't about worrying about what he was going to think. It was about you knowing yourself so well. You wanted to allow yourself to be more interested than just a one
Hmm.
night stand.
Exactly,
I
exactly. Because
love that.
I had already had a few one night stands, and I was just like, well, okay, well, I could tell that I was just not into it after. So that happened. He went home. We were working together the next day. So I show up to work,
Yep.
and he's just like normal, like any other day. Oh, hey, Dalia. Oh, hey, what's up? We're setting up things. We're working together all day. And then at the end of the shift, I'm like, at the bar at the end because they will give us a free beer at the end of the shift, and I was just kind of having my free beer, just waiting for him to join me so we
Yeah.
can talk about the amazing day that we have and our kids and whatever. And he didn't say anything. He didn't sit down next to me. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going home. And I'm starting to think he doesn't remember this. Like, I've never seen him drink. So maybe he's one of those people that drink. They don't look drunk, but they don't remember things. I'm telling my roommate about this because she had just come home, and he sends me a message, and it's like, "Hey, Dalia, I had a great time with you yesterday. I want to take you on a real date." Yeah, he came up with a really good date too. Like he's like, "Oh, my friend has like this harbor tours. You get on a more bigger than a boat that has like a live band in there in a bar."
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and then like he had a hookup with a friend to go in, and then I was
That's
like, okay,
so
great, let's go.
romantic.
That was so great. So that was our first date, and we had a kiss on sunset, like out, like it was really bad. It was
Oh
vibey.
my
It was great.
gosh.
It made me think that he was the guy that knows how to plan dates. I was like, finally, I found a guy that knows how to plan dates. But that kind of just fell on his lap that one time. It didn't work. But still, he was very thoughtful to think about it, right? After that date, I felt that spark, and I felt like this could be something real.
Wow.
And it was the first time in a long time that I felt like this could be something real. Let's give it a real chance, and we're gonna say no to everyone else, at least
Wow.
for the next couple months. Because I also told him the second time we hung out, I told him like, hey, I don't want to have sex right away because I want it to like be a build up for both of us. And he was totally fine with it. He was like, oh, no problem for me at all.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you too, and blah blah blah. And of course, everybody from the roster was hitting me up,
Of
and I
course,
was
because they
like,
energetically felt like,
oh my
ooh,
god,
Dahlia's not available
seriously.
anymore. Let's go get her back. Because
That whole
they
first month was so hard.
subconsciously.
Seriously, the energy, like it was
And I
so
do think that
hard.
the universe kind of sends you these distractions to make sure that you are being very clear and focused on what you actually are asking for, what you actually
Hmm.
want. Are you really going to just like
Like
be in
tests.
integrity? Like, are you
Yeah.
going to do what you say you want, or are you going to be distracted?
Uh-huh. Like little tests, right? Like little,
Yeah.
like, all right, let's see if you really want this. Let's see.
Yeah.
if you're
And
not
let's see
gonna
if
mess
you're
it up.
like actually ready to hold
Exactly.
this like beautiful sacred relationship, because I think it does take a certain level of maturity in order to call in and sustain and
Hmm.
build and create a relationship that ends up in marriage and beyond, right? Like there's
Yeah.
levels to it.
Oh yeah, for sure. After that, we kept hanging together and kept dating. Then we moved in together. Only 6 months after dating, we moved in together
Wow.
because we were like, why not? My roommate was leaving to go to Taiwan to teach English for a year.
So
And
cool. Oh my
right?
gosh.
Yeah, she's my business bestie too because she also has
Wow.
a business. She's a brand photographer and also a business coach. So yeah, she was going there, and I was like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I was already thinking to look for other roommates, and he was the one that was like, well, what about if we move in together? Like, I'm living with my brother. Our lease is almost ending. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So we moved in together. So we were working together, living together in a relationship that was less than a year old. So it was definitely challenging, but
Yes.
we weren't killing each other. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there's something here, something
Wow.
really strong here. So let's keep trying to grow it, right? But also during this time, I don't think I was the best version of myself.
Hmm.
I did what I could, and but it took a lot on also him to be patient enough to wait for me to blossom into the person I am now, you know?
Same.
And I'm
Same.
so happy he waited.
I know, me too.
Right? Like I was like, how did you do it for like 7 years dealing with me interrupting you constantly, not letting you like, you would tell me something, I'll be like, no, 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 that's not the right way. I'll tell you the way that's better. And I'll just tell him my way. And I just keep thinking like, wow, you're so patient. And
Same.
I love that because it allowed me to finally find the space to grow into this person that I am now. And now I'm giving him the respect that he deserves, that he's deserved this whole time. And it all changed for me. It all changed after I lived in Tulum, in Mexico for a year. That helped me reconnect with myself a lot.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that
Our
helped me
stories are
understand.
so similar. This is insane.
That's crazy.
Wait a minute. Were you married when you moved to Tulum?
Yeah, we were already married.
Wow.
Yeah. We
And
we
what was
had
that
gone to a lot of
that
hookup.
conversation like?
Well, uh, yeah, so for a while I wanted to go somewhere. My husband is the opposite of me. Like we're very
Yeah.
opposite on how we see life, our perspectives, our personalities. I'm very bright and always like looking at the next thing and what's the challenge. I want to go for it. I love change. I thrive in change. And for him is the opposite. For him is like I rather save and I rather be comfortable in an area that I know there won't be any changes, that nothing's going to
That's similar
surprise
to
me.
your first husband. Yeah.
Honestly, all my real relationships have been with men like this.
Yeah,
And
because
I think
I
it's
I
because I'm
believe that
finding,
it's the energy that is the perfect energy for your soul's greatest expansion.
yeah,
So, like,
because
I
I
think
learn a lot from that.
exactly. And you learn the
Hmm.
balance, right? I think that
Hmm.
having a man that is grounded in the
Hmm.
way he is allows you to have the safety in order to continue to explore and change and grow and evolve and try new things and be the free, wild woman that
Exactly.
you are. And I think it's
That's
beautiful
not how
that,
I saw it before.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see it like that now, but before it
yeah,
was like, oh, I wish he would want to go with me to go do these things. Like, how
yeah.
come he doesn't have the same ambition, or how come he doesn't have the vision I have?
Yeah,
I
because we
like,
want someone to like who like is exactly like us, but then you're not gonna grow in that
yeah,
container.
exactly. You don't grow. And
Yeah.
I always talk about my relationship with my husband now as like he is the person that's flying a kite, and I'm the kite that's in the sky. You
Oh, I
know?
love that. And
So
he's like on the ground, like
he's
helping
on
you
the
stay
ground,
tethered and
keeping me
like, oh,
exactly, exactly. Because if not, I'll just be like, woo, all over the place, right?
same.
Like, but he keeps me grounded, so then I can fly still, but I'm connected,
I have
you
chills
know?
all over my entire body. Wow.
Oh
That's
yeah,
so
like
beautiful.
it makes it easy to understand and explain first, and then also for other people to understand like what's it feel like, because like my family in Peru, they're all bright energy, loud people, a lot of them, not all of them
Yeah.
obviously, but a lot of them. So at first they were like, what are you doing with someone that is not the same as you? Like, we see you traveling a lot, but we don't see him there all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, because we give each other space, a lot of space, and that's how we miss each other, right? Like when I'm traveling, he's, checking in with me, not like, what are you doing? Where are you going? It's
No,
more
but like,
like,
hey, like,
are
tell me
you
about
having,
your day. What
I
did you
miss you.
go? What did you do today?
Exactly.
Like,
Like,
how was your adventure?
it's
Like,
so nice. It's
it's
like
so
so, so
nice.
nice. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because you get
Because
to
you
like
get to share
grow.
it with him too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so fun. He doesn't have social media, and you know me, I do social media for a living, content all the time. So I always send him like what I put on my stories. I also send it to him when I'm out and traveling, so he can see things because
Yep.
I forget like, oh, he doesn't see it on my stories. I need to send it to him. So he loves it. He loves the fact that he's got his private stories,
Yeah, I love
basically.
that.
But the fact that we're so different is what it has allowed me to grow into a better human being and changing the perspective too. Because I, for a long time, kept complaining and kept focusing on the differences and how
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this might be breaking us apart, or like you might be better with someone who loves video games because you like
Yeah.
playing your game. So
Mm-hmm.
like always thinking that
Yes.
way, and that was
Mm-hmm.
stopping me from really creating that full-on nurturing beautiful relationship, that friendship that you have with your significant other. Like it was stopping me because I was constantly seeing all the negative parts, like why is he not coming on the trips with me? Why is he like he gets overwhelmed with this and blah blah blah? Like why constantly?
On the
And
negative
even telling him,
spiral. Mm-hmm.
yes, like and even
Mm-hmm.
telling him, I kept telling him like, oh, then we're not meant to be together.
Yeah.
Randomly, we're just
Yeah.
not meant to be together. Like those are not good things to bring in and talk about all the time. You know what I mean? Like
I
just the
agree.
words.
Yes.
Like after
And
I
words
learned that,
hold so much energy and power where, like, even if you get over the fight and you guys go back to normal, it's always that thing that now sits in the back of his mind as,
hmm
like, maybe she really believes that if she says it so often, then, like, why am I fighting so hard if she would rather just be free of this relationship? And
exactly.
like, but the opposite is why we are saying this. We're saying it because we want him to fight for us. We want him to be
hmm
like, no, you're wrong. Let me prove to you how good we are together. But
hmm
yeah, it's like, and it's a missed
But it's
connection and it's kind of
yes, it is.
toxic. It's a
It
little
is kind of
toxic.
toxic. Yeah, it's something that I think society teaches that
Yes.
too, you know? So it's kind of
Movies.
hard.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like
The
you
ultimatum. Like give him an ultimatum and he's going to step
yeah.
up and change and yeah.
But
But
you
it's
know
so
what
mean.
switched it for me? Like when I told him this for so many, like for almost a year, I kept being like, well, maybe we're just not the right person for each other. And it didn't change, it didn't click until we moved to Tulum. And then he started responding like, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. You keep saying that we're not right
Mm.
for each other. Well, I'm listening. Maybe you're right. And so then he started saying it. And that's when I was like, what are you talking about? Like,
It
no.
shifted.
It shifted because he was doing it to me. And I
Yeah.
was starting to feel what it feels like to have someone say all those negative things constantly, you know? So
Beautiful. Yeah.
I heard it and I was like, wow, I cannot believe you dealt with this for over a year. I'm here for a week and I'm like struggling, like crying and hating the fact that you would
Mm.
even think that there was somebody else that would
Oh.
be better for you. Like, it's so funny how it works, but like the minute he
When you have
switched
the
it,
reflection, when they become
yeah.
a reflection and showing you like your own shadow to you,
hmm
then I think it's like that wake up call that shifts things in relationships for sure.
That's where I realized that and I started switching it. It was really hard at first to switch the mindset because
Oh my
you get
gosh,
stuck on
yeah.
something, right?
And
But
the
like
and
the
your mind likes to stay in the comfort zone and it's really hard to break patterns and then write a
you have to
different
coach yourself
story.
hard through it. Like
Exactly.
it
Mhm.
will be a constant thing where I would just tell myself like, okay, stop, just breathing. If you need to go
Mm.
outside. Like take a minute. Don't
Yep.
just react. Don't just react.
Exactly. The
Let's
sacred
think about this.
pause. I call it that
Hmm.
all the time. Oh,
And then
it
find the
changes
positive
everything.
part of this. Why? There's something positive about it. So let's focus on that instead of on the negative. Like, and I also started saying thank you for absolutely everything.
Wow.
Everything. And in my head, every time I would say thank you, I would just be like, oh, but this is something you should be
But
doing,
where did you
whatever.
learn that?
Because when we would have our fights or arguments about
Yeah.
like, well, this thing didn't get done.
Yeah.
And I told you plenty of times that it didn't get done. And he was like, yeah, but you were nagging about it. Like, I'm not going to react to it. You nag about it. Be like, so how are you going to know that you need to get this done if I
Yeah.
don't nag to you about it? Like, how are you going to know? And he told me, like, next time I do a good job, just tell me it was good. And then I'll remember it next time. I'm like, that seems too simple. You're not going to remember. So I finally started listening and like
Mm,
went against what my gut was telling me and just forced myself, straight up forced myself every single time. Even if it was just one dish that he washed, I'll just be like, thank you so much for washing that dish, mi amor. With that, and I call my
mi
husband mi
amor,
amor,
I
mi
love
amor, yeah,
it.
my love in Spanish. And I will just tell him that, and I'll just tell myself, like, okay, say it without attitude, say it very nicely, and then walk away. Don't say anything else. Like, no, keep it positive. So I kept doing it over and over again. And for the first few months, my mind will still be like, oh, it's just a plate or whatever, right? Like, I wasn't
Yeah.
convinced until I started seeing results from it. Like, he was actually
Yes.
doing it because he felt so good that I was
Yeah.
thanking him for all these things that he was like he started doing them as this is part of the things that he should be doing. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, this is the
Positive
strategy.
reinforcement. Who knew it works?
Seriously, this is the strategy. What the hell? Why haven't I not done this my whole life? Like,
Well,
this
because
makes total sense.
generationally, all the women in our lineage were the
Yeah,
opposite. Where they're nagging, they're criticizing, they're trying to like make the man feel shitty in order to get what they want. And we're here to break that generational pattern and say, no,
exactly.
we're not going to have a toxic dynamic. We are going to learn respect. We're going to learn open communication. We're going to learn how to get out of our anger and rage. We're going to
Hmm.
feel our anger and rage, and we're going to express it in a healthy way.
And it's also about like learning how to communicate
Exactly.
because you can have a very open communication with your partner, but if you don't know how to talk to them in a way that they're going to listen to you, then they're not going to listen to you. Like, even
Yes.
if I use a specific word, he's going to hear it as a nag instead of hearing it as something that it might be good to remember for next time kind of vibe. Like,
I agree. It's not about talking in the way you want to be spoken to. It's about
mhm,
learning each other's communication styles and language and
mhm,
what works for that person. Because then you can say the same thing over and over again and it's never going to get through to them. But when you
exactly.
learn how do they like to listen and receive, then you can speak to that part of them.
Even the words you use, the specific
Every
words.
single word is so
Like, there are
important. Yeah.
words that my husband likes to hear compared to other words
Mm.
that immediately trigger him into you're
Yeah.
nagging, you're telling me you're being defensive, you're telling me this is I did it wrong or something like that. Like, there are
Yeah.
specific words that I know now that I shouldn't use because that triggers him.
And I'm sure it
So
goes both ways. Like he probably has certain words that he can't use that trigger you, that he's
yeah,
learning too. It's not
that he's
just you
learning. And
having to learn and do all the work. Like I'm
yeah,
sure he's doing it too.
but a lot of it has started because I started it.
Exactly.
I now that I've seen it enough times, I think that there's always one person that's gonna get the
Take the
work
lead.
started. Yeah,
Yeah.
it needs to be like one person that takes the lead, and
Yes.
the other person will follow through as long as you
Create space for them to
lead by
make
example
mistakes. Yeah.
and do it yourself. Like, you need to do it, show them
Embody
how,
it
embody it exactly, and like hope that they will see it
and
enough
they'll
because
be
they're seeing it
inspired.
and they'll exactly, and it happens. It just takes a lot more time, so you got to be patient.
I
Which is a hard one for me,
completely
but
agree.
I promise you it's worth it. It's definitely worth it, to learn your partner's language and really take some time on addressing things the way that they just listen to them. They will tell you specifically what they need. And then just try to keep that and listen to it without any type of judgment.
Ego.
Ego, yes. So a lot of times I will like listen to something and I will want to be immediate with my response of like, yeah, but that's not how I do it, or like, yeah, but that's not a good way to do it, or like, I always want to say something back.
React.
And
Yes.
exactly. So nowadays I just tell myself like, you know what? Let me go on a walk and think about this. Or let me take a shower and think about this. I come out and I tell them, you know what? What you told me, I think it makes sense now. I think at the time that I was saying no or reacting in a weird way is because I didn't understand. I was connecting it too much to my emotion and not to the specific problem that we
The
had. And I
reality.
think that's
Yeah.
exactly. And like
Mhm.
owning it is a huge part of this too.
So
Because
huge.
and it's hard, right? Because when you say something, you're like, I won that battle. To come back and be like, you know what? Even though I won that battle, you were right. Like, it's hard. It takes a lot of like
Well, it
braveness to
takes you
come
to
back and be
get
like, I was
off of
wrong.
your high horse, right? And I think that
Exactly.
that's why love is expanding our soul. It's bringing you into taking you out of here, bringing you into your heart, and creating space for this person to be human too. And like, I think it's our soul's greatest work to step into unconditional love in the sense of like more grace, more compassion, more empathy. That's what our souls are here to learn. That's what Earth School is all about, is like only caring about yourself is important for women to go on that journey to cultivate your sense of self. And then the next stage of our evolution, I think, is first we ascend. So each chakra has to be activated into our wholeness. And then the relationship brings us back down. And it's just this ever evolving journey of when do you rise and when do you go into your heart, into your womb, into expansion, create more space, and then rise again. And we're all here for that journey,
Yeah.
I
And then
think.
also like recognizing the times where it's not about them, it's about you. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times it's about you. A lot of times it's about
I
you.
think it's always about you because your journey is your journey and their
Yeah.
journey is their journey. And like, yeah, like anytime you're triggered, activated, anything that
Yep.
is like making you feel not centered, it's medicine for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And communicating that in a good way too, of being
Yeah.
like, oh, that just triggered something on me. And
Let
saying
me
it this
go
way.
do, let
Yeah.
me go take a shower. Let me go take a walk.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what you just said, like I didn't like it at all. It's not you, it's me right now. I'm
Yeah.
coming from having a really hard time at work all day today, and now this is the first thing I'm hearing. If we keep talking, I'm just gonna explode on you. This is not safe. This
And
is
be
not good.
honest.
I'm
Just
gonna
be
step away.
honest.
And just
Yeah.
be honest and say it, right? Like that has been so helpful because then he'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, yeah, go do your thing. We'll talk about this later. Or him
Yeah.
telling me the same thing, like right now is not a good moment to
Yeah.
talk about this. And
Hmm.
just me being patient enough, being like, okay,
And not
he is
taking it
asking me for time.
personally.
Exactly, not taking it personally.
Oh,
Seeing it with
amazing.
strategy, forgetting about the emotions that come with it, and just see it more of like strategy. I apply a lot of like what I teach, like for content marketing, branding,
Yeah.
all of this stuff, how to run a business. A
Yep.
lot of these things apply if you see your relationship from a different perspective of like, how can I make
Exactly.
this really like succeed?
Yes.
Then you start getting out of your own head and your own heart and your own emotions, and you start seeing it from the outside part and being like, oh, well, we're not agreeing because he's thinking this and I'm thinking this. He's not wrong, I'm not wrong. We just need to find a way to meet in the middle,
Mm.
and we're going to achieve that much faster if we're not fighting, because that's the ego, that's you, that you're coming from your own. The word in
Preconceived
Spanish is coming
notions
to
and like, what's the Spanish word?
herida.
Mm-hmm.
So your own wound, you're coming from your own
Mm-hmm.
wound.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever wound came from your family, your past, whatever,
Exactly.
that's what's coming out, and it's not him. And then also switching the language to like, you did this, to this sparked something on me,
The
or
biggest
like,
shift. Yeah.
right, like instead
Yeah.
of saying like you, it's more of like,
Because
oh,
then
I
their
feel
defense
weird,
goes
I feel
up and
different.
then you're not going to get through and they're only going to be thinking I'm not good enough. I can do nothing great. She's always complaining about anything and everything that I'm
Exactly.
doing. And then when you say I felt this way when this came up, then that puts them into their heart space where they're like, "Oh, I
Mhm.
don't want her to feel that way. Like I love her so much."
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it changes. And as long as once you start believing it, it gets even better. But at first you gotta fake it. You gotta fake it till you make it, until you're actually like seeing, okay, this is working. I'm going to do it because I want to now, because I
Yeah.
believe it. But it does take
Mm-hmm.
a while, train your brain into this
Yeah.
new thinking that you didn't
Mm,
have before, you know? And
exactly.
every couple is different too. Because what
Yeah.
works for my husband and I might not work for your husband and I or some other people. But just
Yeah.
spending time on learning each other's language and how each other works, and just
Yes.
being there for each other and listen, a lot of listening, less
It's
talking, more
so
listening.
simple. Like you said, it's so simple, but it's so hard.
It's so hard. It took a while for me. It took a long time to just listen without wanting to say my opinion. That is,
Yeah.
in my family,
The
that's
biggest
like unheard
work.
of.
Same. Same, same,
Everybody's
same.
always talking in top of each other, like just culturally it's intense.
Oh my gosh. Well, Dahlia, this has been so incredible and amazing. Thank you for
Yay.
sharing your incredibly epic transformation when it comes to love and relationships. I know how that must have shown up in your work, which I'm sure you talk about all the time, but I'm so grateful for you to share this part of your story with us today.
Oh, I'm grateful that you asked the right questions. Huh. Any question is always right. I always say that. Whatever question you
Oh,
have, ask it. Right or wrong, I'm gonna
I
answer it and
agree.
we're gonna figure it out.
Yes, exactly. And like the
Yeah.
question's coming up for you for a reason. Like there's a part of
Yeah.
you that needs that answer. But
Yeah.
again, thank you. How
Thank
can
you
my
so
audience
much.
find you? How can they work with you?
You can find me on www.daliaforreals.com. So
I'll put it in
FOR
the show
and
notes. Yeah.
Reels as Instagram Reels. Yeah, you have the link in there. Like that's gonna take them directly to see everything that I do. I focus on video content marketing for business owners, mostly personal brands, visionary women entrepreneurs that know they need to be visible, because nowadays that's what people use to look you up. It's social
And then
media,
that's how
right? So
you
you
get
know
opportunities that you may
exactly.
not be aware of.
That's how you connect with people. So you know that that's needed, and I'm here to either help you create the content, like come in and film you for content sessions, or if you're not in the area, I also have a community. It's like a membership where I keep you accountable with posting, and this one's mostly for solopreneurs that want to do it on their own, and then just want the accountability and the connection, the community. So
Mm.
we're all excited to post, and I always come up with like, or put all the trends in there, and so it makes it easier.
Oh, I love
You get all the
that.
hooks and the call to actions. You got a calendar in
So
there, templates for everything. I just try to make it as easy as I can for people.
oh,
So if you want to do it on your own, you can, and you can learn all these things. But if you don't want to do it on your own, you're super busy, and you just want someone to come in and do the content for you, I'm also your girl. So it's either or,
I love that. Very
whichever is
cool.
needed. And then for me,
Cool.
it's all about helping you connect with your ideal person, because that's part of my purpose in life, is to connect with people, help other people connect, and spread joy. Just bring good vibes. Like
Mm.
I love doing that. Just being there with my good energy and hyping you up all day and getting you excited about your business so you can talk about it and feel good and attract that people that
Yes.
is meant to work with you, you know?
Exactly. Oof, I love it. Becoming magnetic. I am a big fan of everything that you're saying. So everybody go check out Dahlia's work. Again, Dahlia, thank you so, so much. This has been so much fun.
Yay, thank you.